Welcome to the Velvet Tide Reset. So, I do want to apologize for Facebook because I guess, excuse me, I didn't start it on time or within a certain time frame. So now it's locked me out from doing a live today, the one that I had scheduled. So I decided to go ahead and just record a video and upload it. Okay, so um yes, this is like the initial class, just an quick introduction. Um I was inspired to create the Velvet Tide Reset from the questions about pranayama and questions about psoas release, muscle release in general. How do we attain relief and how do we actually let go on the muscular level because that is basically like the cellular level. And so one of the powerful things with breathing is that it is meant to detoxify. It is meant to help us in our movement. So I'm blending a few things together, okay? So I'm taking information about the moon and the moon cycles um, on a deeper level than what they have on the calendar, and really shedding light on the astrology associated with that, and knowing where the moon is for every 28 days. Okay, so pranayama, what is pranayama? Pranayama, um, I have a pretty good definition here I want to share. Okay, I feel like it helps and it's complete. So first let's start with what prana is. Okay, so the first part of pranayama, prana. So yoga makes us feel good because it reshapes our energy. That energy, that life force is prana. We all have prana inside of us. How much we have and its distribution in our bodies determines our health and state of mind. We can work with prana to remove disease, to vitalize cells and tissues, and to clear the mind from repetitive and negative thinking. Focusing on breath and sending the breath to the deeper places within our bodies is when you start actually working with prana. In yoga, this is what is called pranayama. Okay, and there's yamas and there's niyamas. So this is a yama. So pranayama. Pranayama is the art and science of drawing in and building our stores of energy. The yogi's focus is to bring prana into the spine for balanced health and ultimate enlightenment. And prana can be equated to vital energy, life force energy. For people who practice Reiki, this is the energy that we're essentially tapping into and able to, I don't want to use the word manipulate, like we can work like work with it in a way that's healing. Okay. And then ayama is equivalent to expansion or extension. And so with the shallow breathing of everyone, including you watching this, we all have times of short, shallow breathing, depending on what situation we're in, things like that. A lot of us do train, you know, how to breathe in certain situations. It is summertime right now. I'm in California and it's been hot. Um, my body has been changing and doing different things when it comes to heat, especially when it comes to heat as food. So peppers and actually for me, all nightshade vegetables I cannot eat because it creates rashes. And so that's an indication that my pitta is off balance. I naturally have high pitta, and so that's like that fiery element. Um, so naturally high on that end. And so adding fuel to the fire is, eating the peppers and eating things like that. Um, and so in adjusting a lot of things that I do day to day, you know, I've been coming across people who have been expressing the same things, and I'm like, dude, yeah, and I'll share the Sicily breath, which we'll do this evening, um, because it's very appropriate right now because it was, I think, 100 today. Um, I know, there's other places that are hotter, but hey, it's when it gets to be 100, it's like it's just hot. I mean, um, but yeah, so I will invite you to grab your essential oil. If you have a favorite one, tonight I grabbed one that's purifying called Manuka. Um, because we are, like I stated in the previous video, we are in between the peace phase, which is 0, and then the planning phase, which is the first phase. Okay. And so if you've ever studied the moon's trajectory, how it moves, it's usually um, every 3 to 4 days it switches to a different phase or it switches to a different measurement, so to say, because they call it waning or waxing, half quarter, fourth quarter, like that. Which can, I mean, it can be a little confusing, honestly, but yeah, so let's actually move to our mats. And so, um, as you grab your mat, mine's right here. So, you'll need your mat, a pillow or a seat cushion, and a blanket. Um, and and a bolster if you have it, that's fine too. It is going to be gathering the thoughts, right? Because we're winding down. We're essentially we're actually starting our new day, but we'll get into that more in the Zoom room. When does the actual beginning of your day start? And it is um, between these hours of 6 and 8. What are you doing between those hours determines what your day tomorrow will look like. Okay. And so, yeah, so I got to make sure the camera is positioned enough. So, okay, I will figure that out here. And All right. So on our mats, and we're actually going to go ahead and um, start standing. Okay, we're going to start here. We're going to start with a little bit of movement. So a little bit of Himalayan cave exercises. So swinging the arms. So we're going to start with movement. We're going to work on catching the thoughts and all of the busyness, right? And now up, reaching up to the corners of the room. All right, and shaking it out. Oh, yes. So I recommend, so before, at least before each of these classes, I recommend taking a shower, something to help kind of wash off the day before you come to the mat. And um, that way, you can change into something comfortable. Um, and it just helps to kind of set the mood for getting ready to go to bed. Um, it can be your pajamas. It can be a silk robe or silk pajamas if you want. Um, and so anyhow, so yep, so shaking it out, shaking it out, shaking it out. You're gonna start rolling the shoulders back, tucking your scapulas in the back, tucking them towards the back. This is really good if you have that mid back pain. Sometimes it just means your shoulders haven't really moved enough. All right, we can swing the arms in front and back, front and back. All right. So we're going to come and stand with the mat the long way here. Okay. We're just going to stand and feel the energy flowing in your arms after kind of giving them some other movements from the day. Hopefully you were shaking off that computer work. You were shaking off that project. You need to shake off some more. You are welcome to taking it off. All right. And we can go ahead and come to sitting. Just want to make sure I'm in. All right. So, mm, I'll kind of or face the camera a little bit more. Um, nice. So you can take your essential oil and we're just going to put one drop in our hand. One drop is all you need. And rub your hands together and then inhale. You don't have to put it super close to your face, unless you want to, but it should be strong enough to for you to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So now we're going to actually inhale to a count of four and exhale to a count of four. So inhale, exhale. And you could do lion's breath or you can do just a nice exhale out the mouth. So inhale, exhale. All right. So there are actually some guidelines for pranayama. Okay. So we always want to begin pranayama comfortably with a clear mind because forcing pranayama with tension or rushing through the practice can create mental chaos and imbalance in the nervous system. Pranayama is best practiced after asana and before meditation. Okay, so that's what you can expect. We will do asana. So what is asana? Asana is the body movement and the poses. So I'm sure you've heard of down dog. I'm sure you've probably heard of child's pose. I'm sure you've probably heard of warrior, triangle, upward dog, cobra. There's a few different poses that are pretty popular, cat cow, um, and things like that. So, we want to move the body, right? Moving the body is starting to move the lymphatic system, okay? And starting to help our heart rate, which domino effects and helps our lungs, right? As we're breathing in what's called samavriti, even waves of breath. Okay, so just a moment ago, that's what that was. Four counts in, four counts out, even waves. Okay, so we are working on gaining equal waves of breath here during this velvet tide reset. Okay, so if you have just eaten, then you probably don't want to participate just yet. You'll want to give your food time to digest. You need at least 3 hours before you do any type of pranayama or breath work, even yoga in general, because, if we start in crocodile, which is on your belly, like that's very uncomfortable. Trust me, I've done it. I came back from lunch and we were still um, we were doing more restorative yoga that weekend, and I did eat quite a bit, and then we came back, and the first pose was crocodile. I was like, oh man. So yeah, if you can either eat, have 3 hours that have passed since you last eaten, or just wait until after, which is what I'm doing. I'm gonna do my practice after. Have my dinner after. And then we're never going to do more than 10 minutes, okay, because that is too much. Okay, 10 to 15 minutes is best. Unless you're working with, mm, I would say a teacher in person, okay. Um, while it's online, pranayama classes online, it's better to stick with the safer options when it comes to time frames. So the first practice so to say, of pranayama is going to be sama vritti, balanced wave or equal breathing. And the technique is equal inhalation and exhalation, smooth, deep, even breath with no catches or hesitations. 1 to 1 for beginners, 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 for advanced. Okay. And then the benefits and the contraindications, it prepares the lungs, nervous system, and mind for pranayama practice. It increases mind body connection and the practitioner's ability to focus. So essentially, it is helping with focus, which can be hard winding down after working at the office or doing things like that, right? So let's go ahead and jump right in. And I will be going over the different types because there are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 8 that I'll be going over. And we won't be doing all of them because this is like a beginner's course. I will introduce Sitali breath, like I mentioned, along with the Samavritti. Like those two are pretty good. Um, Quickly, Sitali, um, the definition of that one is that which is calm, passionless, and soothing, or cooling breath. And it's breathing deep and smooth. Inhale deeply through a rolled tongue, then close mouth and exhale through nose. Start with 9 rounds, increasing to 15. And I want to slightly add something to that technique because I have found it to be a lot more effective. So, yes, do that. But when you, so you inhale and there is a little pause, so to say, that's where you swallow. And when you swallow and then, you know, and then exhale through the nose, it's a lot more effective. And then the benefits and contraindications, it's really grounding, okay, cooling to the mind and body, excellent for balancing pitta. As I mentioned earlier, I have naturally high pitta, and so summertime it goes through the roof and gets very elevated. And so I've had to seek out, techniques and things to help manage that um, and keep it balanced. Okay. It induces tranquility and peacefulness of body and mind. And some of the contraindications are low blood pressure, asthma, bronchitis, excessive mucus. Okay, so if you are experiencing any of those, um, then you may want to not do it as long and or just not do it at all. Um, okay, so I would like to do a few rounds of mala. So we'll go ahead and you can start lying on your belly. You're going to cross your arms like this while you're on the floor and place your head there. Okay. And your toes, point them towards the outside of your mat. Om Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Om. So as you're laying there on your belly, feeling your belly press in to the floor and back up off the floor when you inhale, or are you even feeling that? How deep are you breathing right now? Is it difficult to breathe? Do you feel placing your hands on your forehead is too difficult? Are you fidgety? So now let's come on to all fours into tabletop. Right. So I'm going to do wide knees here. Just go ahead and start to sway your hips back and forth, almost like the motion of a snake, side to side. What are you feeling? What sensations are you feeling here? Is it tight? Is it stiff? Does this hurt? If it hurts, don't do it as wide. Just do little, you can just kind of move your shoulders. Just moving the shoulders side to side. I start to warm up this low back. Especially if you've been sitting in a car all day, driving people around, driving kids around. I know everybody's on summer break, but they still be asking for rides if they don't drive. Yeah, just wiggling it, just wiggling your hips back and forth. Let's get a good warm up here. All right, we're going to pull forward back into child's pose. Back to table, down to child's pose. You can roll out your wrists. And typing all day, driving all day, doing things around the house all day. All right, back on our hands. We're just gonna reach forward, dropping the front. Now, this might be uh, too big of a stretch. If it's too much, back up. Okay, you don't have to go as deep, just go slightly. We want to start to open up the hips. We've been sitting for a good amount of time today. Just opening up the hips. Some of us have been traveling. If you can take your child's wide, that is good. Taking your knees wider. You know, and all the while, we're starting to tap in and focus with our breath. What is our breath doing? Is our breath leading us? Or are we rushing through it and letting the body lead us? You can bring the knees in a little bit. Should be loosening up. If not, you definitely need to do this more. All right. You can come back and shaking it back inside, side to side. You should feel a difference in the back. Now, I will say the more that you do this, like if you haven't been active lately and this happens to be your first time, you're like, hey, let me try. This looks easy enough. Give yourself grace if it hurts. It just means you haven't been practicing enough. This is a nice child's pose where you don't have to necessarily put your head all the way down, but if you can get your arms, like your elbows down to the floor, a good stretch to that mid back. We're gonna take some breaths here. So 4 counts in, 4 counts out through the nose. 3 more times. You can go ahead and come up back into tabletop. I'm gonna do some cat cows now. So cat, we're going to round the back and exhale. Inhale cat, exhale cow. Or a cat, I mean. Inhale cow, letting that belly hang and inhaling as much air as you can. Exhale cat. Inhale cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And wiggle one more time. Yeah, we're just hoping to loosen it up, hoping to let the low back know it doesn't have to be so tight. It's not in danger. You're not driving right now. Have you ever noticed how long it takes you to relax when you get home? How long does it usually take you? It is good to have a little bit of a movement practice in the evenings to help stretch any of that tension. So we can do some gentle childs. You don't have to go all the way down. Just I'm doing a little bit of a cat and child's pose, so kind of like rolling that spine but rolling back. But I'm definitely feeling a stretch like right in the lumbar doing that. And I don't have to go that far down. Um, so yeah, let's just kind of wave back and forth here. Nothing too drastic. We're not trying to injure ourselves or pull any muscles. Tonight we're just warming these tissues, relieving some daily stress that might have attached there. Now you can come forward. Still engaging the core though. You don't want to zip in too far. You still want the core engaged. Your shoulders are still back and down, right? And let's come and sit on our feet. If you need your cushion, put it between your feet and your butt there. Finding Tadasana in each pose. Let's sit here for 4 rounds of breath. Actually, let's make it 5 rounds. And just notice, how does your body feel? How does it feel to sit here in this position? If you can't do this position, by the way, definitely an indication that you need to practice. Um, we don't want the fluids in our legs to get stiff or create stiffness. That's why it hurts if you're sitting like this. Um, it's an indication that you need to sit like this more. You need to do more leg stuff. But yes, let's continue with our breaths here. 4 counts in, 4 counts out. And feel yourself empty out, okay? And notice, are your breaths connecting? Is there a pause or is there a weird jump from one to the other? Like, where is the breath? Because we haven't done that much movement. So these are going to be geared towards namaskara, um, for Chandra Namaskar, which is moon salutations, reflecting on the moon. How are we utilizing the power of the moon to achieve those things that we are going after? And, there's a lot of different opinions about goals and should you create goals, how you should create goals, and things like that. And so we're definitely going to be going over stuff like that. 'Cause I took a course a few years back and it has really helped me navigate. And I want to weave that into my teachings because all the things that I've accumulated as far as like my knowledge and like what I want to offer, it really has been a part of that, like learning how to do things at the right times of the year, when should I plan for certain stuff. Like it's very helpful. And so I'm so glad that you're here and that you have seen the value in investing in yourself in a way that is natural and that you do already, but it's just you may not have had the awareness of how to utilize it to get what you want even more, okay? Or to even start really getting what you want. It's funny that they say, like, let's get to the bag or get to the bag. And, in mainstream society, it's like, what is a bag? A lot of times when they say that, they're talking about um, designer purses, right? But really, it's this bag here, right? Is the bag that you should be getting. Your lungs, the bag of air that your body can fill up with. Like you can breathe into any part of your body. It's all about tapping in to your internal systems. But yes, so we are in the peace phase. So it's like a zero phase. You know, we're analyzing and we're looking at, okay, where am I? Where do I want to go? Do I want to continue on the trajectory that I've been on, or do I see room for improvement? And, you know, 2025 has helped a lot of people to see that it's time for improvement. It's actually time for more things that are beneficial and not so harmful. And if you've come out of this position, no worries. You can sit cross-legged or you can have your legs out straight. I know in the beginning, I would get fidgety and be like moving around. So if that's you, that's fine. This is class one, guys. This is only class one. By the 14th class, like we will have gained so much stillness that you're gonna be like, I can't even recognize myself, So that is something that I look forward to helping you, achieve stillness in flight like the hummingbird and be able to um achieve like the the things that you actually desire. And it's so easy, I am just so grateful that I've gotten a chance to join a lot of these great groups and things, and so I really am putting a lot of my love and energy into this course. This is class one, I am going to share this on Facebook, but class two is definitely going to be like in the Zoom room, and we're going to be doing, um, I'm going to, draw on the whiteboard, and we're really going to get down into like, what are we doing? It's going to be the class, and then there's also like there's going to be a lecture, and then there's also asana or the moving part, and then um, because traditionally moon salutations, there's it's almost advanced, okay, and so I'm planning to break it down into um things that beginners, or you don't even have to be, I mean, you don't have to be a total beginner, but if you are, that's fine. You know, um, you know, I feel like if it's something you really want to do, you're gonna try it anyway. Sun salutations are good. That's really kind of like the basic level, but because for me the moon is so important, and I have been inspired, like I shared, that's that's why. And then so we can go ahead and start to move into crocodile. So what does crocodile look like? Okay. So like I described, you're lying down, your feet are outside the mat, and you're lying like this. And hopefully my mic is still good. So we're just gonna really breathe into the floor. Press as we inhale 4 counts, feeling the belly fill up, and then exhale, feeling the belly deflate and sink in. And start to think about your navel. Where's your belly button at? So go ahead and start to breathe down to where your belly button is at, all the way. Now, this actually should feel really good. You should also potentially feel release in the low back. Especially if you take a nice big inhale all the way down into the belly, and then exhale. And we're going to go ahead and turn over. Okay. And get my hair out the way there. All right. We're going to have our knees bent and our feet flat. Feel your sacrum on the floor. You slightly roll side to side. You don't have to do drastic side to side, slight, slight side to side. You feel and do self massage for your sacrum. So we will get into self massage as well. I recommend getting sesame oil. That is what is traditionally used. And uh, so we're going to continue side to side. And our low back should be pretty warmed up. I mean, if it's not, stay small with the movements. But for those of us that feel our low back is warmed up and able to go a little further, you can kind of like sway your knees wider. Okay. All right. So now we're going to come back to the center. Go ahead and grab onto your knees, bring them into your chest. Gonna hug them here, stretch our legs up. and twist our ankles, twisting them out, twisting them in, twisting them out, twisting them in. All right, bringing the feet back to the mat. Slowly controlled, slow and controlled. Now feel, I'm gonna find Tadasana here. Feel your body, feel your back. How does your back feel? Is this comfortable? Is this uncomfortable? If it's uncomfortable and you need to adjust, please do so. You may need carpet, I mean, not carpet, but you may need like a cushion. Um, Especially if you have hard floors, you may want to make sure that your mat is of a thicker millimeter and or get another little mat or something to go on top. I'm actually planning to get a wool skin uh, little rug to go with mine, so I'm excited about that. Anyhow, um, so let's go ahead and twist our wrists out and then in and out, in. Awesome. So just take your arms out to the side. We're going to be like a starfish. Straighten the legs, let them relax, and notice, how are you breathing right now? Do you feel the evenness, or do you feel shortness in breath still? In our next class, we are going to super focus on not only pranayama, but the, and sorry, there was a truck passing by and I was like, I hope they don't hear. Well, hopefully not, because I have the head. That's why I have the headphones on. It's supposed to be noise canceling. So we will see. I might have to cut that part out. But anyhow, um, yeah. So we'll be getting into a fuller asana, and then we'll do our breath work and then meditation. So now we're actually heading into meditation. I wanted this to be light. This is an introduction. We're not like bringing out the big guns just yet. We got to build up to that. So go ahead and join me in starfish pose, all 5 points, just lying on the floor here. Take a notice of your hips. Do you feel that there is an imbalance? Do you feel that they're balanced? I can tell mines are a little bit imbalanced on the right still. It's a work in progress. Unraveling your body from an injury takes longer than the healing time frame they try to give you at the hospital. And notice your thighs, your knees, your calves, letting them feel heavy, your ankles and your feet, just letting them sink into the floor. Notice your left hand, your left wrist, your left elbow, your left shoulder and armpit. Noticing your right hand, your right wrist, your right forearm, right elbow, your right shoulder and arm and armpit, all relaxed, letting the moonlight bask over us as the earth holds us. Right, you start to wiggle your toes, look at your fingers, your hands, your arms. And we're just going to come to our side. You can come to your side. I'm not going to lay on mine because my microphone's right there, but you can just lay here for a moment. And when you're ready, we can come up to sitting. Beautiful. So this has been just the introduction. Yeah, Facebook was being a hater today, so I wanted to at least make something. And the remaining classes will be at 7 to 7:20, and then live on Facebook, and then the Zoom class will be it starts at 8 p.m. So, all right, I will bid you farewell, and I will see you on the next one.